Hey, today we're out here to do a tracking test or an activity test on the Garmin inReach Messenger Plus, the inReach Mini 2, and the GPSMAP 67i. I want to be clear, this is not a navigation test. This is only tracking. So all of these devices are set on 2-minute tracking. I'm getting out of my vehicle to trailhead and I'm meandering in big looping turns to see if these devices actually follow my very specific route, or are they putting points down every 2 minutes. Another thing I want to be clear on, this is not tracking as far as somebody watching you at home via map share, or maybe you sent them a link. Because in tracking like that, they're just going to see your tracks being put down, whatever setting you've made or whatever time interval, whether it's 2 minutes, depending on your subscription, 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. So it's not about somebody watching your tracks. It's about what you see on your device or on your smartphone if it's synced. Somebody actually asked a question this week about the tracking on these 3 devices, so I came out here to do a video and actually show you what it does. The first thing on the Garmin inReach Messenger Plus and the Messenger, when you start tracking, it shows all points sent, but it doesn't show you where you're going on the device on this little screen. But with the Messenger Plus, when you're synced with your smartphone, you can see it on the map when you're using the Explorer app. What I'm currently seeing with the Messenger Plus is it's showing points every 2 minutes. Now it does show a little meandering here and there, but when I've walked out here, I've been taking really long sweeping turns and nothing's in a straight line. But on this, which you'll see on the screen, it's basically straight line points about every 2 minutes. This is actually what I thought was going to happen, but I wanted to come out here and confirm it and show it to you. Now, when I get to the Mini 2 test this morning and the 67i, you're going to see something different. Well, stay to the end of the video when I compare the results from all 3 devices. The other thing I'm going to do here is on all 3, I'm going to track back. And I'm going to show you what it looks like on each device and when synced with your smartphone. So let's get going with the TracBack, and then we'll get on with the Mini 2 test. So with TracBack, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on this device, and it says all points sent. So I'm currently in tracking. Now in a real life situation, if I'm tracking back, I don't want to stop tracking. So I'm going to go to TracBack and I'm going to leave this tracking. So I'm going to arrow over to TracBack. Well, since I've been talking out here a little bit, it put a point down and it says it's 40 feet away, so I don't want to track back to that. There's some earlier points back at the trailhead. Now it says there's 2 points, so I'm going to select that, and it says today 7:51, today 7:41. 7:41 a.m. says it's 0.29 miles away. The one at 7:51 is 0.11 miles away. I actually want to set the one at the trailhead at 7:41, so let's see what happens if I start tracking back from here. Now it says follow path and loading course, and it says 20 feet away, 0.3 miles remaining. Let's see what it shows on my phone. On my phone, it has my path in every 2 minutes, and then it has a straight line shot for, well, there's 2 points that were put down, and it's in magenta. It's going to send me back direct as the crow flies, so it's not taking me back along the meandering path that I came in here. And if there was a river or a rock or some obstruction, I would really want to know that, but it doesn't look like it's going to show me this. But let me track back and let's see what really happens. Because on the device here, it's saying 20 feet away, 0.3 miles remaining. And it has an arrow. So I want to see if this arrow actually shows me the path I took. I'm really going to do my best here to follow this arrow as much as possible. Let's see what happens. I was meandering out here, huge sweeping turns, and this is taking me straight back. So if there were obstructions out here, rocks, cliffs, rivers, all that, it wouldn't take me back around to the path that I came in. That I don't like. I'm probably 250 to 300 feet off course, and there is no alert that I'm off course, as the Mini 2 and the 67i would do. Well, let's head back to where my TracBack was showing me, because I'm over 300 feet off course and I did not get an off course alert. Now I can see I'm off course by the device and it's showing me how far I am away, and I can also see on my phone when it's synced that I'm way off course, because I can see the map on the Explorer app. 0.2 miles remaining, but 20 feet to the next waypoint. And we should be here. Now it says 0.2 miles away. Well, that's at least good. it goes to the next waypoint. Okay, so I tracked back to the first waypoint. It's a straight line. I went off course about 300 feet at least. I did not get an off-course visual or audible alert as I would get on the Mini 2 and the 67i. When I was following the arrow on this device, it was a straight line shot. I was meandering out here left and right all over, but it gave me a straight shot back. So it's as the crow flies on the TracBack, or it's a straight line from waypoint to waypoint. Now, one good thing that it did is I had set my TracBack to the point at the trailhead, and what it did, it took me back along to this waypoint right here, and then it automatically went to the next waypoint, which is back at the trailhead. So that's good, but it's a straight line shot only. I'm glad you're seeing all this today because there's a real difference with the tracking and TracBack on the Messenger and Messenger Plus versus the inReach Mini 2 and the GPSMAP 67i. All right, I'm heading back to the trailhead. I'm going to go switch devices and I'm going to test the Mini 2 now. All right, I'm out here with my Garmin inReach Mini 2 and I started tracking at the trailhead. I've come out here about a quarter of a mile and it is amazing. The tracks that the Mini 2 puts down on the device and on the smartphone on the Explorer app is outstanding and way better than the Garmin inReach Messenger Plus. If you want a device for tracking and TracBack, then you would rather have the Mini 2, or at least I do. And the 67i is the same way, and I'm going to show you what that looks like after this test. But you can see on the screen here, I'll have screenshots, but this has all the little tracks everywhere I go, every time. I mean, every 5 feet or less, I don't know, maybe 5-10 feet, it's putting a track down. Now, I do have the activity level on high and it's set on 2-minute tracking, but on the Mini 2, it doesn't matter about your tracking interval because that's for people who watch you. With the Mini 2, it depends on your activity detail and they're standard and high, and I have mine on high, so it is really defining my track on the way in. Also, on my phone with the Explorer app, it gets so much more information and detail than the Messenger Plus did. Now I'm going to track back real quick and I'm going to go off course, and you're going to see with the Mini 2 that it will give you an on and off course alert. I'm going to do my very best to hold this camera steady and go off course so you can see it'll give you an audible and a visual alert when you go off course, and then when you turn around it'll say on course. Now, I don't know if the Messenger Plus does or not, but I went 300 feet off course and it did not give me an on or off course alert. Okay, let's track back now and let's see what this thing does compared to the Messenger Plus. As you all know, this is a test, but in a real life situation, if you were in trouble and needed to track back, you would not stop tracking. You want to keep your tracking going, and then you want to go ahead and hit TracBack. So let's do that. I'm on the navigation screen, so I'm going to hit the OK button, the 3 little buttons at the top. All right, it says navigate, but let's see if it'll go to TracBack from here. And it does go to TracBack. Now you can select something else, a waypoint or maybe a course, but I want to track back because I'm acting like I'm lost. Okay, so it's giving me multiple points from 9 a.m. to 10 and 8 to 9, but I'm gonna go from 9 to 10 and look at those points because it's 9:45 and I started tracking at the trailhead about 9:30. Okay, so I have today at 9:23, 0.29 miles away, which is about right. Now there's an earlier one today when I was testing the Messenger Plus, and it's a lot farther away, so I know it's not that point. All right, so I'm hitting the 0.29 miles away. Now it gives me the option of follow path or a straight line. So I guess if I was out in the middle of a pasture, following a straight line is great, but where I go in the mountains here in Colorado, around rivers, rocks, cliffs, whatever you can imagine, you don't want to go in a straight line. So I'm going to follow the path. And now it's loading the course. What I love about this, it shows the little points as I came in, but then it shows my path going back. Now let's look at the smartphone real quick. Okay, so on my smartphone, now it shows the course back as cyan. It does show a few points down that maybe were the tracking points when I came in. But let's see when we follow this course for a little bit here, what happens to the course? Does it change color behind me? And then when I go off course, does it give me the off course alert and on course alert? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what it looks like on the Mini 2 itself, because that's what gives you the alert and shows it, and you hear it also. So let's take a look at it. All right, I hope you can see that. The sun's glaring a little bit, but I'm going to start tracking. It's already tracking back. So I'll do my best here to show this and keep it in focus. It's hard sometime out here. Well, let's start walking back here a little bit and then I'm going to go off course. One thing I want to show you real quick is that I actually zoomed in to give me more detail. So you hit this OK button and you go down to pan and zoom, and from here you select OK again, and then you hit the plus and minus arrows to zoom in and out. Then you can see a lot more detail as you go around curves. When you're done, just hit the back arrow button here and it takes you back to the screen where you're tracking. I have some screenshots of this, but I hope you can see it because it's unsteady here as I'm walking. But I was walking around these bushes here, as you can see right there, and I was going in and out around the bushes and see if it really followed this course. Okay, as you can see, I have been following this course right on. You can see the little dots maybe. This just gives so much detail, way more than Messenger Plus. Now I'm going to go off to the right here, that way, the way my antenna is pointing, and let's see if I get an off-course alert. And now I'm going to video this whole thing and give you an idea about how far off course that I've gone before it gives me the alert. Well, that's a long ways. A lot of times I've seen off-course alert within 30, 40, or 50 feet. Okay, there's the off-course. I hope you see that real quick. I don't know why it took so long. There was an audible and visual alert that I was off course. I'm going to still check the settings because that was like 300 feet that I was off course. You can see I'm quite a ways off course, and I'll show you real quick. I mean, that's at least 200 feet away, if not 300 feet away. Again, I've gotten a lot more accurate detail on and off course, but let's see real quick if it gives me an on course on the way back. Okay, there it is, on course. Had an audible and a visual alert right there. All right, we're gonna keep walking back to the trailhead and see what this looks like when I get back. Okay, you can see I'm almost back to the trailhead, and the tracking on this Garmin inReach Mini 2 and the TracBack is phenomenal. Not only do you see a lot of great detail on the device itself with the tracks that puts down and the tracking back and the on and off course. When you have it synced with your smartphone, you have access to the Explorer app and you can see the maps and you see so much detail on the screen. This Mini 2 blows the Messenger Plus away when it comes to tracking and TracBack. All right, I'm gonna go test out the 67i now, but Garmin has made some changes to how you change over devices. The changes that Garmin has made is when you switch devices, the Garmin devices, they want you to do it on the appropriate app. And in this case, with the Mini 2 and the 67i, it's going to be on the Messenger app. Now, I used to have to make these changes at home on the computer, but now I think you can do it in the field if you have cell service. So we're going to test this real quick because I need to test the 67i next. So I've got my Mini 2 here and I've got the 67i. Now I'm going to turn the 67i on, and once it's on, then I'm going to go to my Messenger app and see if I can make the switch there. Okay, the 67i is on. It says it's still connected. Well, of course it is because it's on. The Mini 2 is still on. So what you do is you click on your image or your photo at the top left, and then it'll have devices. So I'm going to click devices. Now it shows the inReach Mini 2 is connected, so I'm going to click add device. It's searching for devices. Oh, it says ready to connect. See, it already found it. I didn't have to go to setup on the 67i. It says looking for the 6-digit pin, and then it says connect it. Now, I'm in cell service right now. There's no Wi-Fi out here, and I used to have to do this at home, so it looks like Garmin has made it a lot easier. Even though it's different, you got to learn something new, it's much easier because you can do it on the Messenger app. Now it wants to transfer service. What's really nice is it gives you a visual of the device it's transferring from and to, and it also gives a serial number. All right, there you have it. It transferred it using the Messenger app. That's really convenient because if you're in cell service, you can make these switches. That was not the case in the past. Now, a lot of times I'm outside of cell service here in Colorado, so I wouldn't be able to do this. But as long as I can get to cell service, I can switch devices. Maybe I have a backup device where I want something else for some reason. Maybe I'm using my 750i, the Montana 750i, because I'm in a four-wheeler ATV or my truck, and I'm driving around the mountains and I want to use it. But then sometimes I might want my Mini 2 or the 67i because I'm hiking or fishing and I don't want that big device. So it's really nice to have this convenient feature now on the Messenger app. All right, now let's go check out the 67i on the tracking and TracBack at a different trail. Okay, third test of the day. It's with the Garmin GPSMAP 67i. I started tracking at the trailhead and I started walking out here to see what would happen. I was thinking it would look exactly like the Mini 2, but honestly, I think the Mini 2 wins this whole battle. Now, on the device itself, and you'll see with the screenshots, it looks just like the Mini 2. You see all the detail but on the smartphone when synced, it's not looking as good as the Mini 2 did. I think it should look the same, so I'm not sure what's going on. It might take some more testing, but right now, with what I've done today, the Mini 2's #1 on tracking and TracBack. I haven't tested the TracBack on this yet. 67i is #2, and the Messenger Plus is #3. At least on all three of these, you can track back and get back to safety, but Mini 2 wins this battle so far. All right, so as I said, when you see this trail on here, it's really great. You can zoom in and out on this device. You can pan around, and it has great detail on the tracking. Hey, one thing I want to tell you real quick before we do the TracBack is if you want to increase your accuracy on the off and on course alerts, you have to go into the menu, go to setup, and then go down to the marine icon. When you do that, let me see, I'm going to go do that real quick. Then you have a bunch of things here, but it's the marine alarm setup you need. When you do that, click on off course alert, and then I've got it set at 0.01 miles. That is as low as you can get. So now you go into it and you set your distance, and you need to go to 0.01. You can't go lower than 0.01, and that's about 50 feet roughly. So make sure you set that off course alert or the distance, and it's in the marine icon. I don't know why. Garmin, please fix this. Okay, so as I said, on the device, you got a lot of detail. It shows everything I've done, all the curves, all the sharp curves, everything I've done, all the turns. Now, there may have been an issue when I left the trailhead. I started tracking immediately, but it had a straight line about 1,000 feet out, so it normally doesn't do that. And then when I looked at everything past that point, it gave me some curves, and you'll see it on the screen. Okay, that's really crazy. It had a straight line for a while, and then it showed me hiking around. Well, now I just looked at it, and it's showing what I expected. It shows the detail on the phone. Sometimes it doesn't update as fast as you want it to, so you may need to wait a little bit. It is a satellite communicator, and that takes some time, and right now, I'm outside of cell service. Okay, next test, we are going to track back with the 67i. I'm going to show you as much as I can. I'm going to go off course, and we'll see if this does give the alert. Even though I have it set at 0.01 miles for the accuracy on the alert, which I think is around 50 feet, sometimes it doesn't give me that alert for 100 feet. But that just shows you there is some issues with accuracy with these satellite communicators. Let's go ahead and hit TracBack. So how do I do that? You know, I do think there's several ways to get to TracBack, but the way I do it is I go into the menu and then I go down to recorded activities. Now it says current activity because I am tracking, and then here's where it says TracBack. If it doesn't show TracBack, there's 4 icons at the top, and one of them where it has the triangle or the play button, it shows stop, save, discard. Then you go over one, it gives a bunch of information, then you go over it again and it has the map. And this is where at the bottom it says TracBack. All right, so let's hit TracBack. And all of a sudden I got a bunch of magenta lines on the screen. Now there's one long magenta line that goes all the way back to my house, so you gotta ignore that. I've tried to get rid of that stuff. Sometimes if you have erroneous lines showing up or tracks, maybe you need to go onto the Garmin webpage that you have and delete all the activities or tracks or courses that you don't want. But if you still have issues, then you can also reset your device back to factory settings. You can always get everything back. It won't get rid of your courses and tracks. When you sync your device after resetting it, it'll all be there again. I've had to do that several times, so just be aware that you may have to do that someday. And if you ever need to do that, check out the video here and in the description below where I show you step by step how to go through and do that. All right, let's track back. I'm going to keep the camera rolling. I'm going to go off course and see if we get an off course and on course alert. Hope you can see that okay. You can see the course in magenta, the straight line. Forget that straight line, doesn't even matter. Now let's start tracking back and see what happens. All right, you can see I've taken a right here when I came in, or a left. Now I'm going to go straight and away from the course to see if I get an on and off course alert. Last time I was out here and tested this, it took 150 feet or so before it gave me the course alert. Okay, I think I'm at least 200 feet off course, so I'm going to keep going. All right, there's the off course alert. Got that? It was audible and visual alert. All right, I'm going to turn around and see if I get an on course alert. All right, there's the on course alert. Hope you can see that. Maybe that's a little better view of it. Okay, I was about 300 foot off course from way over in those trees. And then after about 300 feet, it finally gave me the off course over here. Now it's probably 50 feet or so off of the trail when it gave me the on course, and the trail is somewhere over there about 50 feet away. So tracking shows up with a green check mark or a green circle with a white check mark. And I'm going to hit stop tracking. In tracking session, current activity will be paused. Yes. All right, as you have seen today, there are so many differences between these satellite communicators. Make sure you get out and test them because you've seen some ways that they've operated different today and you want to see how they work and how accurate they are. All right, so bottom line, again, if I were going to rank these, I'm surprised by my ranking because I thought the 67i would be better. On screen, the Mini 2 and the 67i are the same as far as accuracy, so I give them a 10 out of 10. But when synced with your smartphone, the Mini 2 did better. It showed better information than the 67i when synced to the smartphone. As far as tracking and TracBack, number 1 is the Mini 2, number 2 is the 67i, and number 3 is the Messenger Plus. I'm really shocked today about the results. But the bottom line is the 67i and the Mini 2 blow the Messenger Plus away as far as what it shows you on the tracking and TracBack. It's always nice to have those 10-minute hidden points on the Messenger Plus, or if you set your tracking to 2 minutes, you'll see a point every 2 minutes, and it's better than nothing. But I would much rather be able to look at my 67i Mini 2 and see exactly where I went, and it would take me exactly that way back to my starting point. If you have any questions, thoughts, or comments, please leave those below. I'm out here testing a lot, and I have a lot more videos coming up. Thanks for joining me out here in Colorado. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Now get out to the mountains and stay safe.